the consciousness, the will. That's how you can recognize it. A good example of this is one of my friends from Cambridge. His daughter, when she was in grade 1 at school in England, was asked a question by the teacher, what is the biggest thing in the world? And one kid put up their hand and said, my daddy. They're only 5 years of age. Another kid put up their hand and said, no, no, miss, an elephant is the biggest thing in the world. No, no, a mountain is the biggest thing in the world. And the daughter of my friend, only 5 years of age, she's actually studying biochemistry in Oxford now. It shows she was a brilliant girl. She said, miss, my eye is the biggest thing in the world. And the teacher said, what do you mean? Well, said this 5-year-old, my eye can see her daddy, it can see an elephant, and it can see a mountain, and so much more. If all of that can fit into my eye must be the biggest thing in the world. That's brilliant.
That's a brilliant answer.
But it wasn't quite true, because your mind can see everything your eye can see, and it can imagine things you'll never see in the real world. Your mind can hear, smell, taste, and feel sensations, real and imaginary. And it also has its own area, independent of all the other senses. In fact, everything you can ever experience and know can fit into your mind. So your mind is the biggest thing. Not the biggest thing in the world, because the world exists in the mind.
Does that mean you can't really control the mind?
Exactly. So you just let it be. And when you let it be, it becomes very peaceful and still.
So what is the relationship between the mind and, for example, the emotions? Because, you know, you feel a lot of things like fear or hate
That's
or
right.
disappointment or frustration or even, you know, all these negative things. People always say, you know, be positive, don't be negative. What does that actually mean?
Well, actually, a lot of times it's just more controlling again. So they try to be positive, and they get very frustrated because they can't do it. So a lot of times it's because they don't know how the mind actually works. If you can just leave it alone and let it be, it becomes peaceful all by itself.
So to go back to my questions on these emotions, they're not part of the mind, or are they?
They are part of the mind, but we have the positive emotions and the negative emotions. So the negative emotions show a dysfunctional attitude to life. When we get angry, you get angry, does it really help anybody? You just get angry, and other people, they just think you're being stupid today or in a bad mood. You only hurt yourself.
But do you think the world's problems or the conflicts can be solved?
They can be solved. They have to be solved. There's no other alternative. One of the beautiful things in our modern world, what I was talking to you about before the camera started rolling, is look, you know, I was born in London, educated in Buddhism in Thailand, living in Australia, now teaching in Indonesia. And you sort of had your education in England too, and now you're sort of speaking in Indonesia. So what is this difference between nationalities? It's just totally imposed upon reality. It's not true. And modern people, whenever I go throughout the world, you know, young, well-educated professionals, the leaders of today and the future, they're realizing there is no difference between human beings, no matter what race, no matter what religion, what nation, what gender. In other words, we're beginning to see what we have in common, which is far, far, far in excess in what separates us.
But how to do